have weekly and monthly calls with AUS. We have that partnership with them. We're sister companies, and we work very closely with AUS. We have quite a few customers that already are using the Service Link with AUS. And then, of course, the work and projects are assigned directly to FSR. So guess what? No more paper. So which means, what does that mean? It cuts down on human error. So just a little bit on the field mobile work management side. We've seen about a 35% increase in work productivity for people that starts using our software. It also increases customer satisfaction by improving. You don't have like missed appointments if you have scheduled appointments. You don't and improving service response times for the FSRs. These utilities have seen a big cost reduction when it comes to optimizing, because due to our optimizing scheduling and our intelligent routing. And then our system is scalable, meaning it doesn't matter if you're small, medium, large, extra large utility. Our solution will work no matter what the size of the utility is. It's very flexible. And as we go, please ask questions if need to. I won't touch too much on this, but I do want you to see this, because what you see here is where it says Harris, that would be AUS Advanced. And that's where your service orders are created. That's where the manage your work orders, the work order status, work order completion, appointments, and data endpoints. So what happens is when that order is created, then it comes over where you see where it says create order, a service order, modify service, a canceler, comes over to Service Link to our dispatch console. This is where we do things like the automated skills based dispatch, the route optimization. We can do appointment booking, the workload balance, and then once it's created, that service order goes out to the FSR where you're seeing the mobile client. So once that FSR has finished their work, it all comes back in and goes all the way back to the CIS in real time. So everything's being reported back through to the CIS, to AUS in real time. Just gives you a little bit of value. This is one of our larger customers that did this study, Con Edison. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with Con Edison, but they led this study. And what they did is on the left in the blue, you see where it says pre-Service Link. Con Edison was doing about 424,000 service orders a year pre-Service Link. Now, they were using a different software. They were not just doing paper. They were had a different mobile workforce management. But when they transferred or moved over to Service Link, post-Service Link, you see in the orange, were able to do 573,000 service orders. So you can see there was about a 35% increase in efficiency just by moving over. A lot of that goes with the intelligent scouting, intelligent scheduling, the intelligent routing, and the things that we do, and we'll show you that in the software and what it does. Devices. Doesn't matter to us whether it's a Windows laptop, Surface device, iOS, iPhone, or iPad, Android, tablet, or phone. Our system will work on whatever it is. It doesn't matter. We see a lot of people using Panasonic Toughbooks. We see a lot of people using iPads, iPhones, Android. So it really depends on what you want to use there at the utility. I'm not going to touch a lot on this because we're going to touch more of this when we get in the software. Pavel will go into more detail, but what this is just what we call a workflow studio tool that we now offer within Service Link. And what this does, it gives the utility the ability to go out and actually take existing workflows and be able to change those workflows with just a drop and drag functionality. So there's no code to be written. We've already got it already set up. You're able to make those modifications on the fly. We do have, just know this, we do have about 30 standard reports that we offer with the solution. Now, if there's a report that you may need and we don't have, we can help you and we can help develop that. But just for example, this is just an FSR timesheet. So it just shows things like en route time, on-site time, completion time, the job code, and maybe the actual arrival time. But we do have about 30 different reports. The reason I'm not going to go into all those because it takes a while. So Appointment booking. Within the system, we do have just our standard appointment booking. And what this enables the citizen to choose that time that aligns best with their schedule. So if a citizen calls in and says, hey, I need to book this appointment for this order to be done, service order to be done at a particular time, or somebody needs to be home, then that dispatcher, when they're on that call, they can pull up the calendar, and we'll show this in the software as well. They can pull that calendar up and then go, okay, so what we've done here is we've got it set up in 4-hour time increments, 8 to 12 a.m., 12 to 6:30. So you can set that up ever how you want, whether you want 2 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours. But this is just for demo purpose how we set it up. So you see in the blue time slots means that's available time slots. Now let's say on the 16th at 8 a.m. that one was green. If that slot was green, that would be telling that dispatcher, hey, this is the best optimal time to be able to schedule this appointment. That means we have an FSR that's going to be in that area. They may have the attributes, the skills, whatever it may be, to do that type of work. And that's telling that dispatcher, hey, use this, try to get the customer to schedule during that time. Now, if it was red, let's say that the 16th at 8 a.m. was red, that would be telling the dispatcher, hey, this is the least optimal time to schedule that appointment. We have nobody in that area that day. We have nobody that has the attributes or skills to be able to work that service order. So try to avoid that day at all possible. And we'll show a little bit more of that in the demo. Any questions up to this point? I'm going a little fast because I want to get to the software because I know that's where you guys really want to see. So we'll show you this as well from the FSR standpoint and the dispatcher. So what we have is on the software itself, whether you're an iPhone, iPad, what computer, whatever it may be, we do have a panic button there for the FSR. And what this is, this allows that field service representative, if they get in a bad situation, whatever it may be, if somebody's got a gun pointed at, whatever it may be, they can hit this panic button. If they don't cancel this panic button within a 30-second time period, then it's going to send a notification back to whoever you have it set up there at the utility, whether it's supervisor, manager, dispatcher, multiple people there at the utility, to say, hey, this FSR hit their panic button. We've got to get somebody to them. So now it will not dial the police. It's not going to dial 911 for liability issues, but it will alert somebody back there at the utility, hey, there's a situation going on where that FSR is looking. We also have what we call a safety check. That safety check, the dispatcher can set it up or the FSR can set it up. And what that does, and like I said, we're going to show you a little bit more of this in the software. All that is let's say the FSR said, hey, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to set up a time in 20 minutes. Dispatcher, if you hadn't heard from me in 20 minutes, it's going to send an alert to the dispatcher, hey, I need to check on this FSR. Or same way the dispatcher said, hey, I know they're going in a bad area. I'm going to set up a safety alert. If I hadn't heard from them in 10 minutes, I'm going to reach out to them. So that's what that does. Another thing that we offer as well is we have quite a few different dashboards that we offer. We'll try to maybe get to this towards the end of the demo to show you more, but this is just showing things like a trend analysis. So you can see like number of orders completed, connect, disconnect, exchange, whatever in different months. So, but this is one of several dashboards that we have. Okay. Any questions at this point? I know I kind of went through that fast, but I want to make sure we left plenty of time because we're officially going to the dispatch console and the FSR to show you how the day in the life of those two. Any questions? All right, I'm going to ask Pat. Pat, you mind sharing your screen? Let me get out of this.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. All right. Can everybody see Pavin's screen there? All right, so what you're looking at, this is the actual dispatch console. This is our actual dispatch console. So just to kind of give you an overview of the console, there's several different components of it. Number one, at the top, you see the flags, the little reminders. You can see things in the color of the blue, green. What that is, it's just showing you a snapshot of the orders created today, completed today, FSRs, and maybe if you any emergency orders. Right below that is you see that in the different colors there. That is the actual um, orders themselves. That is the service orders themselves. So we have this set up in different colors. For example, the columns may be, like let's say green may be dispatch, blue may be a pending order, orange is on site, yellow maybe a on route. You know, we can do light yellow like a key customer. Red is always use an emergency order. Now, these colors are customizable, so we would work with you in the beginning to tell you if you didn't want these colors, you could do a different color. Maybe you had a different color scheme that you wanted to look at or have it set up a little different. But just know that that is flexible. Then at the top of that, you see where it says service order, order type, cycle, appointment, account warning. That's all flexible as well. We can move that around in different orders or whatnot for you as well. So the system is very flexible, and you see Pavin's moving that out. It's just a drag and drop. So another thing that you see there in the middle where it says account warning. So we can put account warnings. For example, this one says angry customer. So that one's in a red shade. So you can say, hey, this, and it will also show up on the device in that work order that the FSR has. So not only dispatcher sees that, also the FSR will be able to see that. Then let's say, for example, you may have a key customer, a city council member, a mayor, whatever it may be, that you want to make sure that, hey, we've got that highlighted in yellow. So you can say, hey, we need to make sure this customer is taken care of, and we're on top of this. So just know that those colors are flexible and customizable, that you don't have to do these colors. We can change those depending on what you want. Any questions to that point? Okay.
I do have a question.
Okay.
So the angry customer, the account warnings, that stays in this application, or is that something that is a field that can be brought over from CIS into this application?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So we it kind of goes back and forth between CIS and ServiceLink. So for example, when FSR in the field, came across some kind of account warning, so they can put that account warning like a bad dog or angry customer that goes to CIS. When you create a work order on that account, in the future, so we're going to receive that account warning back to ServiceLink.
Thank you, Pat. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So what I've been showing you up at the top, that is your actual current service orders. Then down at the bottom left, now on the map, you can actually see those you see the icons on the map. You can actually see those orders on the map. Now you can change the view of this, so it doesn't have to be the same view. You can change this, move this around to have a different view if you want the FSRs on the one side. Or you can. This is all you're able to change that as well. To the right of that, you also have the FSR, so it's showing you all the FSRs. Okay. So that's the dispatch console. Now to the top left, there's a little filter button up by the service orders, and you'll see Pav. Click on that filter. So what this is dispatch filters. This allows the dispatch to go and say, hey, I just want to see like pending orders or dispatched orders. So they can set these filters, and they can save these filters, and they can toggle back and forth between two, so they don't have to do it every time. So they can, as you see, he's setting these filters, and he can toggle back and forth. But they can do things as far as like the state, maybe appointment type, maybe a cycle, or maybe an area, a district or area that you may have, whether it's north, south, or ever how you have your area set up. They can also look at things like key customers, the type of work to be the service order type that they want to look at. So they can set all these filters in that dispatch filter. Okay. Now I won't sit here because we can go over filters for a long time, but just know that the dispatcher has those filters. They can do it by quite a few different things there, and they can set those features, save those filters, and be able to toggle back and forth so they don't have to set them all the time. Then at the bottom left, you see the FSR filters. So this is where the dispatcher can go in and set the filters for FSR. So I want to see all the ones the FSRs that signed on, or maybe signed off, or en route. They can also sit and look at areas. They can look at the area. You may want to have a particular FSR in a particular area, assign them to areas. Their attributes, whether they skills, whether they can work on a large meter, small meter, whatever it may be, you have those attributes. And then you can see who has a shift, who doesn't have a shift. So, and then to the right, where you see the FSRs, you see as he's changing these filters, things are changing on this right side. Okay. So that is the dispatch console in at a 40,000 foot view. Okay. Any questions before I go into the day in the life of a dispatcher and how we actually dispatch orders? I know it's a lot, and I'm probably talking fast. No, I'm throwing a lot at you, so don't hesitate to ask a question if you got one. All right. Well, let's talk about the day in the life of a dispatcher. So there's several different ways that we can dispatch an order. So when an order comes in, we have the order created here. The first way we can do this is we can actually drag and drop the order to the FSR that we want to assign that order to. So you see Pavin's grabbing an order and he's going to drag it over to the FSR he wants to assign it to. Now, you're going to find out that he likes Ken Griffey Jr. So he likes to give him work. So you notice he drug that order to Ken Griffey Jr. You notice it turned green, meaning dispatched. So Ken Griffey Jr., if you see down there in the actual, you see where it says OT, that is order total, and the OR is orders received, and then orders completed. So you see we've given him one service order so far. The second way that we can do this is we can go to the map, and we can draw a geofence around the orders that we want to dispatch. So you see Pavin is drawing a geobox or geofence. Now he's going to drag those orders over to the FSR that he wants to give those to. So once again, told you Ken Griffey's going to get a lot of work today. So now there's, when he drug that over, they're seeing a mismatch, maybe available time or whatever it may be. There may be some kind of mismatch, not available, whatever. But he said, hey, you know what? I still want to force these. I still want to give these to Ken Griffey. So it's going to force it, and it's going to go ahead and give those orders to Ken Griffey. Okay? All right. Then the next way we can do this is we can go up, and you see the thumb at the top? Do y'all see the thumb he's on? Okay. That is saying, hey, we want the system to recommend who is the best possible FSR to do this work. So he's going to, in just a second, he's going to grab an order, and he's going to drag it towards FSRs. And when he does that, watch what happens to the FSRs. Depending on the criteria and what's set up in the filters, for this one, we've got it at distance. So when he starts dragging, you notice how all of a sudden they changed orders, and Ken Griffey went to the top because he's the closest to that order. We're going to give that to Ken Griffey. So we're going to drag and drop. So all we're doing is telling the system, hey, who's the best FSR, or the closest FSR, or who has attributes, depending on the filters we have set, to work this order. Okay? Any questions up until this point? So that's 3 ways so far that we have been able to assign orders. Now,
Wendell, I do have a question, and you may be getting into this. But since you have this map, can we put GIS layers in this map?
Yes.
So it does integrate with Esri?
Yes. So yeah, we were going to show that here in just a few minutes, but yes, we do have. So our system comes with a base Esri integration, but if you would like Esri Advanced, if you want those layers, yes, we do have those integrations. So. And Pavin will probably add to that and show you a little bit more of that here in just a minute.
Yeah, I haven't configured the Esri maps on the dispatcher side, but when we get to the mobile, I'll show how it works. So, but it's going to be very similar on the dispatcher as well. When enabled by default, we have OpenStreetMaps. That's what you're seeing here, which is free. But if you have Esri, yeah, we can definitely overlay all your features here, like assets, like meters and all. So
yeah. Okay. So the fourth way, and to me the coolest way to actually assign work, is by the auto assign. We're going to have the system automatically assign work orders depending on you can set up if you want the service orders to be dispatched as they come in, or first thing in the morning, middle of the night. You can set that up on how you want them dispatched and when you want them dispatched. So we're going to have the system actually automatically fill these service orders. So you notice down there, Pavan is going and clicking on all the FSRs that he wants to auto assign work to. So he's clicking and then he's going to hit fill. When he hits fill, it's going to ask him max orders. How many orders do you want to give each FSR? Is 20. If return orders means, if it says yes, it means if they have any orders, return all those orders, and we're going to redispatch orders to them, do this autofill. We can do things, we can set it up in distance, different filters. We can do the dispatch filters like maybe their area, the attribute shift. We can do order filter type, like we're doing arrears and default for these. And then at the bottom, you can see we've got 4 of the 8 FSR selected that we want to autofill those work orders for. Okay. Now, when he gets ready, he's going to hit run, and you'll see right here watching the FSRs, it took all those orders away. Now it's starting to automatically send those orders to him. So it's very fast. You see how fast it's working there. You can see now it's doing King Griffey. And it's doing it's so it just completed. So it sent 4 FSRs service orders in that quick of time. Anything you want to add to that real quick, Pavan?
Oh, no, I think you covered it well. So I think, yeah, so basically this job can be scheduled to run, like one of our larger customers, Con Edison, they have, I think, 500 FSRs. So they schedule this job to run overnight with a priority. So the filters that I selected, like I selected the arrears, the disconnects first, and then the default basically tries to dispatch all the disconnect work orders. That's a priority. And if there is still a gap in the shift for FSRs, that is going to fill with low priority work. So yeah, you can set all kind of priorities and then schedule these jobs to run overnight. And then by the time FSR show up for the work, then all the assignments are done.
Any questions on auto assign before we move on? Okay. So the next thing is, once we've auto assigned, now we can also do route optimization. So we can schedule that FSR's route. So you'll see here, and he'll go into, and you see the little Route 66 sign. So he can click on all the FSRs that he wants to do route optimization for. So he's got all those done. Now you notice down here, they're by color. If one thing you notice, that the FSRs are not overlapping each other. So what it's doing, let's say the blue there, or the red for King Griffey. So it's now what it's done is optimize that route for King Griffey, and it's put it in the order that the system is saying, hey, you need to work these orders. And we'll show you when we open up the app for the FSR, it'll have those orders listed in order on that app as well. Okay. Like I said, nobody's crossing over. Now let's say for example, King Griffey Jr. is working an order. He just started on one side of his territory at number 1, and he's working an order, and an emergency order comes in. And it's on the opposite side of where he's working, the opposite side of his little territory. So what it does is he would have to accept that emergency order. It gives him notification to accept that he accept that emergency order. Whether he completes that order, the first order he started, or suspends it and goes straight to the emergency order, let's say it's on the other side of his territory, like I said, what it does is it's going to go, and once he finishes that emergency order, it's going to re-optimize his route from the location he's at. So he's not got to go all the way back across to number 1 and start from there. He can actually start from where he's located. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is David. Obviously, from the IT standpoint, we're not familiar with the way that business and collections and their team works to address these orders. But what I'm trying to figure out is how would that look on their side? When they receive a work order, how does that look? Because it looks like this is the person that would be assigning the order to them. How does it look on their end?
On the FSRs then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that in just a minute. We're getting there.
Okay.
I'm actually right now what I'm doing is showing you how we dispatch and what it looks like for the dispatcher and their work. And here in
Okay.
just a minute we'll swap over and we're going to pull up a tablet and you're going to see exactly what the FSR sees and how they work in order.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Good question. All right. Next thing is Pavin's going to pull up. We talked a little bit about appointment booking, so he'll pull up the appointment booking module here. You just right click and he's going to the appointment. And this is where the dispatcher, if somebody calls in and needs to have a particular time for a service order or somebody needs to be home for that service order to be done. Remember, we had blue meetings available, and I show you the green. So if that dispatcher was looking at this and that dispatcher sees, hey, on the 18th, there's 2 slots in green, that dispatcher probably wants to try to dispatch that order during that time. Because remember, that's when we have somebody available, somebody's in that area, or the attributes to be able to do that. Now, let's say you have multiple dispatchers looking at this. This is real time. So if one's fills it out, the other dispatcher can see that immediately as soon as something's booked. So everybody can see, and it's all real time. Now, let's say the 27th was red. Then that dispatcher, of course, would say, hey, this is not the optimal time to do this work. Let's don't schedule anything that day if we can. Stay away from that. Any questions on the appointment booking? Okay. Pavin, anything you want to add before we move over to the FSR?
No, I think maybe we can touch on dashboards if you want to, or we can show a lot of other stuff. But yeah, I think let's maybe quickly switch it. We don't have time, so let's switch to FSR.
Yeah, we can show that towards the end.
Yeah.
All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let Pavin switch over. He's gonna switch over, and he.
I have a question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It was just the appointment booking. So if someone's in it with multiple dispatchers, but someone's in it trying to book an appointment, just to make sure we're not double booking, if someone's in it in that process while trying to book the appointment, will it notify someone else if they try to click that time that it's in the process of someone's in it trying to book the appointment? That way we're not double booking by mistake. If someone chooses that same time, around the same time?
Yeah, around the same time and for the same exact work order, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever clicks second, they're gonna get a warning or error message.
A notification that
Yeah.
spot. Okay,
Right.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
Great question. So Pavin's gonna switch over, and we're gonna go into what I like to call the life and the day of the FSR, the field service representative. So he's gonna mirror his iPad here. So I believe somebody had the question, what does the FSR see? So this will answer that. So remember on the map where we had the route optimization, that FSR can see his route to the right because it has a map. Now, this is on the iPad. If it was on a iPhone or Android phone, it would, due to space requirements, you couldn't see the map to the right, but you could click on a little icon to take you to the map to see your route. Does that make sense? It's just space. But on the left here, you see all those service orders that we've dispatched to this person. They're in order, 1, 2, 3, telling them which one, which order to go in, and then on the map, they have them in order as well. You notice that as he scrolled down, you can see that account warning. There was an account warning on there. So whatever's showing account warning on dispatch is actually showing on the FSR. So I think this one may be maybe tell them, hey, there's a bad dog at that location. Okay. We could, at the top, you notice there's a panic button. We talked about the panic button. I won't go back into that, but that's where the FSR can hit that panic button and have 30 seconds to cancel. If it doesn't, it's going to alert somebody back at the utility something's going on. They can go in and do a safety check here. They can do it themselves. As you see, he's pulling it up there, so he can go in and set the safety check. If you hadn't heard from him back in 20 minutes, it's telling what reason, you can he's putting her in wellness, well maintenance or whatever. So, and he's okay. And that's just in 20 minutes, it's going to send an alert back to the dispatcher, whoever you have it set up to say, hey, I need to do a safe check on this person. So, all right. At the top, can you hit the little route button up there and show? Yeah. So you see the little button you get right there. That's the route button. So it's actually highlighting their route. so the FSR can see their route. Once again, if they started at number 1 and they're working that and they completed that emergency order came in on over on the other side, once they accepted that, they can go and work that order, and it's going to re-optimize from where they're at. So they wouldn't come back and start in the same order, and it's going to adjust on the left to put it in the correct order. All right. So we can do things like the FSR can look, they can search orders. If there's a particular order they want to look, search by address. They can go to that top search bar you can see on the left, top left, and they can look for an order that way. If there's a particular order they're trying to find by address or whatnot, so they can do that, and he's typing it in, and it'll pull up that service order. Okay. But we're going to go in, and now I want to show you exactly what the FSR, what it looks like for them to actually work a service order. So Pavin's going to pick an order that we're going to work. So he's going to click on that order.
Yeah, before we do that, Winter, I
Yeah,
think
go
we
ahead.
can
Go ahead.
quickly touch on the layers as well. So yeah, on this
Yeah.
particular on this particular device, you can see these are the Esri maps. So we also configured some layers, not at that location. It's the demo system, so they're at a different location. So if I just navigate to somewhere in Florida, so you should be able to see, like, I have some layers configured here, like hydrants, water meters, and things like that. You can also interact with them. So you have a meters and main lines. If I tap on any of these objects, it kind of shows the details. I don't have it configured here, but if you have a requirement to create work orders of these assets, that's also possible. So, okay, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Any questions on that? I know we had somebody wanted to see that. So any questions on that before we move?
I don't have any questions. I don't think, because if you guys can ingest GIS layers that we already have pre-configured, I could see where that would be beneficial if they're trying to locate a meter, like a water meter, or an electric meter, if they have to do a reread. I'm not, that's just what I was thinking as far as.
Yeah, that is how it works. So you will be providing us your data, like your REST interface for your Esri. Then we will be configuring the layers based on whatever you want to see. So yeah, as I've shown, like it could be any different type of assets. So depending on your requirements. So.
Okay. Excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick, and we're going to start and just show you what it looks like for the FSR to actually work in order. So Pavin will pick an order there that we're going to work, and you see up at the top, then when he put a check mark by that or pick that order, give you en route and details. So that FSR can actually click the details button and actually see the details of that order. Okay, so you can actually tell exactly what's going on there and the details of that order. Okay. All right. Once he's done that, he can say, "Hey, I'm en route." He can hit the en route button, saying "I'm en route," and it also will show him will actually give him a pop-up. And this is an add-on module here. Some customers want it, some don't. But what it does, it just sends an alert out, an SMS out to the customer saying, "Hey, I'm 15 minutes out," or whatever it may be. Whatever time they select. So that, like I said, just keep in mind this pop-up here is an add-on for SMS messaging to the customer to let them know that you're on the way. Okay. So we can also, as you see, when he clicked en route, he can also look at the direction, get the directions. You see the little triangle, so he can click on there, and it will give him the directions to that actual service order. So as you can see here, this is a demo system. Pavin is in Vancouver. This order is over in South Carolina because he may not be the right person to be doing this order because I think it takes him about a day to get there. So, but this just gives you an idea that shows the actual directions for the FSR on his device. Okay. All right, now we're going to go on site. We say we've got our directions, we've made it, and we're going to hit on site. And if you notice one thing, whatever he's clicking here on the left, when he goes on site, you notice it's changing on the FSR. His color is changing, meaning, and he's got the little car, meaning he's en route. And when he changed to go on site, it'll change colors again. So watch what happens to his color here in just a minute. It'll change on where the FSR. See his color change, Barry Bonds, his color change. That's letting the dispatcher know, hey, you know, he's on site. It's also showing the little home beside him, meaning, hey, that icon means they're on site. Okay. Then we're going to go into the workflow. All right. Then we're going to go and we're going to work this order. So Pavin will click that, and I'm going to let Pavin talk from here because he does a better job explaining this sometimes than I do. Plus, he's driving the machine. It makes it flow a little bit better as he's driving. So.
Yeah, no worries. So workflows, I mean, as Wendell mentioned earlier, so we use a tool called Workflow Studio for designing these workflows, and the workflows can be different based depending on the order type. For example, meter exchange will have one type of workflow compared to meter read or meter investigation. So I'm going to quickly show the Workflow Studio tool that we use. So this is a tool part of the Service Link. So here you have whole different boxes. So each box represents a screen. So when I click on any of these things, so this, let's see, you see here service order information. So that's exactly what you're seeing here. So you can see here, the title is service order information, and you have account number, customer name, and all. So tomorrow you might have a requirement. Oh, I want to see a meter number here or address here, whatever it is. Or if you want to change the ordering of these fields, or maybe change the label of these fields. So that's not the code. So you just make the change here, and then you update it. So next morning, all the FSRs would receive that change. Does it make sense? Yeah. So, and also like, so you see like, okay, so on the first screen is order, service order information. So depending on what they answer on this screen, it can either go to, collect reads, or it can also be execution failed. So I'm going to show you that example. So everything here is read only except for one last question. It's asking, can you execute the service order? So if I answer no, and then click next, it's basically skipping all other screens and it's taking me to the final screen. Like, because I said I cannot complete the work. So now I have to say why I can't complete the work. So yeah, it could be can't locate the meter or bad dog or angry customer. And then you're done. So you just optionally take a picture and you're done. Or if I go back and then say, oh, I can complete the work. So then it's asking me for the verification purposes. It's asking me to enter last 4 digits of the meter. I'm going to just randomly put some number. Now it's just giving me the warning because we know what meter to expect at this location because we are getting that information from AUS. So then we do the validation and then giving the warning. So it doesn't match. And then when I go next, it's basically saying, oh, because there's a mismatch, it's making sure that are you at the right address? Just giving all the address and everything. If I still say, yeah, I'm at the right address, it's asking like, okay, what do you see there? So what meter number do you see? So again, if everything matches, you're not going to see the screen. So we control all that in the Workflow Studio. Okay, so now, yeah, go ahead.
I've got a question. So I did see where you can put, and you may be getting ready to talk about the files or attachments. I don't know if
Yes,
that's the next
yeah, I'll
thing
be
you were getting
showing that.
ready to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be showing that. Yeah. Okay, so this is the remove meter. So here I'm gonna put some, some reads from the found meter. It's the KW, KWH, depending on the register types. And then I can also take a picture. Either I can browse the files on the device, or I can launch camera and then take a picture. So I'm going to be tapping on the camera. I'm going to just take a picture. It's view from my office. So does that answer your question? The one
So where are these pictures are going to be kept? Are they going to be in the cloud? Are they going to be attached to the CIS database?
Yeah, so it depends. Like if you are just deploying the software on cloud, then they'll be in the cloud and they will be available through the Service Link application. Also, we send all the attachments back to AUS, so you can also see these attachments on the CIS side.
So in order to see these attachments on the CIS side, if we were to go with the cloud solution for Service Link, it would be looking at the cloud to pull these pictures back, or would there be a duplication in it
So
be
yeah,
housed in the database?
oh yeah, we always have a copy on the service link side, and then when as part of sending the completion back to CIS, we also send the attachment back to CIS. And then if you have a policy like you don't want to keep attachments for more than 2 years or something, and then we can configure a purge job and then delete all the older pictures. It's up to you. So. I think Dan, I'm going to let you answer that. So on our side, we store, for example, depending on where we are deploying. So let's say we are deploying this on the AWS, then we'll be storing all these pictures in the S3 bucket. So that's what comes with the AWS as a physical file, right? So on the CIS side, I believe it's stored on the blob storage on the Azure. But Dan, can you confirm that? Do you know?
I think Dan had to jump.
Oh, Dan had to jump.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
This
So
is
yeah,
Alyssa's on here from AS. She may be able to do it.
I cannot answer that at this time, so I can find out though.
Because Brian, quick question, all of our items that we store now currently as attachments are on the CIS database, correct? You're on mute, Brian.
Yeah, that's correct. Everything goes in the database.
Okay, so I would think it would take the same approach if we're not cloud-based with CIS.
So Latasha, if we can get it cloud-based where it's not keeping a copy on the database, because the CIS database has significantly grown dramatically over the last couple of years. So we're
Yes,
trying to reduce that if possible.
and the only way that we can get cloud is if we upgrade CIS.
Shafang, do you know if those attachments, are they being saved in the database or are they being saved in a folder on the server?
yeah. So on our side, we would definitely save to the folder, like depending on. I mean, we also support on-prem solution. Just let's say if you're deploying this on-prem, then you can create as the shared directory, and then we can save everything to the shared directory. We don't save any file. I mean, we save the reference to the files in the database, but we don't store the physical files in the database. We just have it on the folder, and then we have a reference to the file. Yeah, we definitely post all these files back to CIS, but yeah, that's something that we have to get that answer from CIS team, how they are storing on their side. So
Yeah, Dan said that it's in an attachments folder, but he's not sure where on the database, so I'm trying to find that information out now.
okay, great. Okay. Okay, so I'm on the new. Sorry, do you have any other questions on that topic? Okay, no problem. So I'm on the new installation screen. So to enter, as you can see, to enter the new meter serial number, I can either manually type in or I can also barcode scan. So I just launch the camera. I'm going to be scanning something. And then I can take the picture of the new meter. Then I can answer other questions and enter the start read. Again, this workflow is example from one of our customers. Your flow might look entirely different, like with the different fields and different screens. Okay, I can also capture the location of the meter by just tapping the location button. We can embed all these information blobs, for just training purposes. So basically here it's saying like, okay, approach the meter, tap on the location button. So just make sure you're capturing the location of the meter. So when I do that, it automatically populates the latitude and longitude into those fields. Okay, now on the final screen, you can say, yeah, I'm done with the work. Can optionally enter the read and also take a signature. I mean, some customers, I think for whatever reason, they get the signature from customers, then done. So that's the completion of the work order.
Now, once he's done with that, the dispatcher can go in and you'll see the color changed and it'll change to white. And the dispatcher can go in and see the details of that order there. So he'll
Yeah,
click.
so
He go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So basically, yeah. So when I double clicked on the FSR, now you see this work order is completed. And then when I double click, I get to see the details, including all the information that I entered, reads, and even the pictures. So
Now, another thing is, I hear all the time, what happens if the FSR loses connectivity? The great thing with our system is we have an offline functionality, meaning that the FSR can continue that work. And what happens is they continue that work, complete that order. It just queues everything. And then when they come back online, it automatically uploads. So they don't have to stop working just because they go offline. So they can work it being offline. So that's a snapshot of what the day in the life of an FSR would look like actually working an order, and what the dispatcher and how to dispatch. What questions do you have before we move on? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, how big of a cache do we have on this offline storage feature? How long can we hold the data?
oh, we don't delete the data. So we have, I mean, this on this particular application, this is the native application. We have a SQLite database embedded as part of the application. Unless you uninstall and then clear the data, so we keep it forever. Yes, if any data that's not posted to the server, we keep it forever. So
Okay. Interesting.
Great
yeah,
question.
from the FSR perspective, it's a seamless. Like either, I mean, they can lose connection and all. They can just continue to work. Nothing will stop them. They can take the pictures and everything. As soon as connection is established, it's a seamless for them. So they don't have to push any button or anything. It automatically syncs the data from both ways.
For the feature where you mentioned that, you set safety reminders to check on the on the dispatcher on the people that are actually on the field, when they lose connectivity, that doesn't affect that functionality.
Sorry, the reminders for, sorry, ask that again.
Yeah, for like, I remember he mentioned that there is something that you can set on the side for, like, for example, well maintenance, and then like you need to check on that person.
Oh, yes,
Like
yes. Yeah.
Go
Sorry, what
ahead.
was the question? Yeah, there's a safety check. So basically the way it works is like, okay, so if they're just entering into some kind of a dangerous, like a hazardous situation, they can set an alert like, okay, so check on me in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on how long they think that's going to take. So all the dispatchers first get the initial notification. And then if FSR is, done the work and then came back and then cancel the timer, everything is good. So let's say they haven't come back within the time frame, then it's going to send alerts to all the dispatchers. So then someone will have to, just acknowledge and then basically, send some crew for the help. So yeah, it's going to notify all the dispatchers. Is that your
Sure.
question? Yeah.
Yeah. But I was just wondering if the person did lose connectivity before sending that message or sending the request for the timer, that would be the issue, right? Like that's
That would definitely be the issue. Yes. Yeah. Then,
Okay.
yeah, if there's no communication, then yeah, obviously, there's no way to know for the server side that they cancel the timer. So
Okay.
So David too, also, they do have panic buttons on their radio. So if there's like an emergency where the police need to be contacted immediately, if they're in a situation, they do have a panic button on their radio that would go straight to the police
Yeah.
if it was like something serious. Yeah. Do you guys have, and I'm not sure, I don't think I saw you do this, but like if let's just say a field worker's out, they're working service orders, and do they get notifications? Like if let's say they couldn't get to, um, a water meter for whatever reason, and somebody from the water department had to go out there and locate the meter for them or whatever. I'm just making something up. Is there a way they can hold that service order and then come back to it and get like a notification to not forget
Oh,
that they've
yeah.
got that?
Yeah. So let's say they went en route. Yeah, you still see my screen, right? So yeah, so they went en route and then on site, and then for whatever reason they can't complete the work at the moment. Maybe emergency work order is dispatched, so they can suspend the work order with a reason. Like, I mean, I don't have reasons configured. I just it's other and then type
Okay.
in like,
Yeah, like if you couldn't locate the
yeah,
meter, okay, you can't locate
yeah,
meter reschedule.
yeah. So you can just put can't work now or whatever. And then yeah, so and then they can do, yeah, now it's in suspended status. It's a different status, you say, with a different background. You can also get to see the reason. Dispatchers can see the reason. So yeah, you can definitely suspend the work order.
And so do they have to manually do it, or will the system like remind them like and put it back in the queue or something?
Oh, it's always on the queue, so they can work on this work order anytime. I mean, the work orders that I'm showing you,
Mhm.
everything is undated at the moment. But you can also set the appointments. So for example, there can be a situation where work order needs to be completed between 8 to 10 or 10 to 12. So in that case, you're going to have, instead of undated, you're going to see exact time when they need to be completed. You can also have a different background color to highlight like this is the appointmented order or something like that. So, but any work order that you see, they can be worked anytime. So.
So I think I understand this question, Pavan. So what I think we're saying is when they suspend that order, and let's say for example they couldn't find a water meter, and then the water company goes out and finds the meter. Um, how will they let they know that the field service rep to actually say, hey, they found the meter, here's where it's at, this, you can go back and work this order? Will that come back through the dispatcher and they send a message out? How does that work? I think that was the question. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, no, if that is happening behind the scene, like for example, dispatcher is handling the work, so they can always modify the work. So if I show here, again, modify screen is configurable. You can take any work order and then modify. Dispatcher can put a comment like, let's say water meter has been located, has the location or something. So whenever dispatcher or maybe CSR modify the work, then FSR gets a notification that work order has been modified with a let me modify a work order so that way you can see. Maybe I'll take one of the work orders, take modify, test or something. So if I go back to here within a few seconds, so you should see that a notification saying that work order has been modified. So you see that the update like with a red circle 1. So it's basically saying this work order has been modified. You can actually see the updates, the dispatcher comments. So
Yeah. So that's letting them know. That's letting the FSR know, hey, this has been modified, and you're able to go back and work this order.
Gotcha.
Is that? I think that was what you were trying to get to, right?
Yeah, correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yes, you can from the dispatch. So for example, so let's say you have these couple of work orders. This FSR cannot work. So you can select one or more work orders as I did, and then you can just basically drag them onto a different FSR. So yeah, you can give a reason, maybe, called in sick or something, and then you can force. So that's gonna basically remove those work orders from this FSR and then assign. So you can see now this FSR has 24. instead of 20.
I'm just probably asking a silly question, but like, if would in any case would an FSR maybe need to like reject an order that was assigned to them and ask basically the dispatcher to reassign it to somebody else, maybe because they don't have the expertise or something to do the job?
Yeah, that's totally possible. So they can always return the work. Some FSRs don't um, allow FSRs to return the work, but on this demo system is enabled. Again, I don't have a lot of reason codes configured, but again, you can configure any number of reason codes. So in this case, I have two, like additional part required or employee not available or something like that. And then I can
Okay.
also type in any other reason, and then they can return the work. We test, and then now this work order is returned back to dispatcher
Dispatcher.
with a reason.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And this, can ServiceLink, does it have an integration with any AVL systems?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. That's one of the things I didn't have time to touch on, but we do have the Esri Advanced integration. We have AVL integration view. If you need that, we've got that as well. We have the SMS integration where we can do messaging back and forth between the utility and the customer. So there's a lot of other things that I didn't get a chance to show just because of time restraints. Is AVL something you guys may need, or y'all using?
I know Latasha's team has an AVL.
Yes, we currently use Verizon's Network Fleet, the AVL solution that they have.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can definitely integrate with them and then feed that location into our system so that you get to see exact locations of those vehicles here.
Can you do multiple AVL integrations? Because, you know, like Latasha's team uses the Verizon, but we have other departments that may eventually use this product, that use like
Yes.
Blue Arrow. Okay.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, yeah, we so far I think we have done with like for example, we done integration with GeoTab. I'm not sure which one you have. We have done with the TrackStar.
We have Geotab.
GeoTab. Okay, yeah, GeoTab works. Yeah.
Any other questions? I know we're run out of time. I want to be conscious of everybody's time here. So
I have a question. We were just discussing, so currently before, and this is in reference to working disconnects for non-pay. Currently, we print the disconnects, those orders that we plan to work that day, we print them off in the morning. And then we review those accounts before our guys go out and actually work the disconnects just to check for payment. How would we do that using your system? Like, how would we be able to check? Because if those orders are going to be automatically assigned or we assign them, how are we going to check those orders for non-payment?
So if I understand correctly, so what do you check actually? So do you check if they're still, if customer made a payment or not? Is that the one you're
Yes, we
checking?
check CIS to see if they made a payment or not before we
Okay.
go and work the disconnect.
So the good thing is like we have a real-time integration with CIS advanced. So let's say if customer made a payment and then if you cancel the work order on the CIS, so it would automatically cancel the work order in ServiceLink. So even if you dispatch a work order and if customer makes a payment and then it would be automatically pulled from the FSR with a notification.
Okay, so the ticket's out there in ServiceLink and they did make a payment, it'll automatically cancel it?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
great question.
Can you set up, because, you know, making a payment, they may have made a payment, but how will it know that they made enough payment to cancel the order? How does that work?
So I believe with those rules, I think you can configure on the CIS side, like when exactly you want to cancel the work order. But in theory, I mean, like, yeah, you set a rule and then they made enough payment and then you cancel the work on the CIS and it will automatically cancel in the service link.
Yes, and that's correct. When we set our rules on the CIS side, it should dictate how the actual order should be processed from that standpoint. Right now, we're working with Advance on doing an automatic reconnect send based on percentage payment if the customer meet those criteria versus us having to do a manual send for reconnect or disconnect.
So Latasha, do you guys now, do you have it set up where, let's just say a person has a pay arrangement, they don't pay a certain amount, it will, if they pay a certain amount, but it may not be the entire past due, will it automatically cancel their disconnect for non-pay?
Not necessarily. That is the piece that we're working on with the ticket that we have open with Advance. What we want to be able to accomplish is just that, being able to say that if the $200 payment was due and you only paid $150, we've got criteria in there that says the $150 is good, but it'll pick out something like an exception, like partial payment made, where our collections group would then be able to go back and then contact that customer, set necessary arrangements for the next payment amount due.
Okay, so that functionality does exist in CIS
Yes.
potentially.
Yes, it does exist. We've just never had it set up.
And I'll
Okay.
check on that for you guys as well.
Yeah, and I think with our ticket, Alyssa, we have been working with Karen and or Beth.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check on that as well as I'm still trying to find out this information about where those pictures are stored on the database. It's an attachments folder, but I'm trying to figure that out too. So there's a couple of things that I need to get back to you guys.
Yeah, because right now with the influx of customers that we have, our database continues to grow because we have a host of applications and pledges and different things that we're storing in the system that is our system of record, where our reps, our collection specialists, our utility assistance staff can go in and see that information without having to go into a drive and not have anything associated with the account that is related to.
Okay. All right. Well, that is the information that I will find out for you guys. I know also you probably will want a proposal, so we'll update that from last year's proposal. And if you have any other questions that you just think of after this call, just
Well, I
shoot
did
them
have
over
a
to
quick
me.
question.
Yeah.
How many customers do you guys have currently that are on AMI, and what platform are they using, and how does this integrate with ServiceLink?
So AMI meters, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I know like we have a lot of customers move to AMI, and also we also help them to migrate with that migrations. For example, we recently completed a AMI deployment for Philadelphia Water, so they use ServiceLink, but I don't know exact number. But I would think at least 50% of our customers are using AMI and also, I mean, we haven't touched today, but we also have integration with some of our meter vendors. Like for example, we have an integration with Itron, Census, Aclara. So what type of meters do you currently use, like in the field?
We currently use meters through what is it? Badger for the water meters. We're using Itron for the reading of those meters, and we also discussing integration with Census right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So Badger, we haven't done any feedback coming, but
Christine, I think you guys provided some type of feedback.
Okay, perfect.
Um,
Okay, so yeah, we have integration with the census. So for example, Philadelphia Water, so they deployed census meters. So we can automatically get a read and provision the meters from ServiceLink application. So if you're using like a command link, if you're familiar with, we can talk to command link and then get the readings. So from the workflow, so you don't have to manually type in. So we can also do the same thing with Itron meters. Does that
Okay,
answer your
Chris-
questions? Yeah, I mean, yeah, to your first question, like how many AMI customers, we have to check. I don't think I have that kind of number. So, but yeah, I was involved with multiple AMI projects, but I don't exact number how many customers are using AMI. So.
Okay. And I think Christine, you guys were trying to say something?
No, we were just trying to understand, we couldn't hear very well, so we were just trying to understand what was being said.
Okay, it was just pretty much a question regarding the migration that we may have with census later on, and how that would affect or integrate with ServiceLink. And based on the response, they have worked with census.
Yes, it does work with census. Yes, yeah. As I said, like we just finished, like yeah, they swapped, I think, about 600,000 meters. So yeah, we can definitely handle census.
Okay. Any other questions? We do appreciate you having us today and taking time out with us. I know we went over a little bit, but any other questions? Like Alyssa said, if you have questions afterwards, please reach out to her. And if you have questions for certainly, she'll get them over to us and we'll make sure that we get them answered for you.
Absolutely. And I still have some information that I owe you as well. So. All right. Well, it's been a great time with you guys today.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Alyssa.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
thanks.
great day. All
You
right.
too.
Bye.